Hi, sheltered family. Good to see you in yet another new episode in 2024. It's been a while, such a long break, but glad to be back. And of course, to know that you are well. And let's get right into today's episode. For those who are new, my name is Lenah Kendi, and it's such a pleasure to have you. Welcome home. This is where we talk about everything relationships aligned to ensure that you grow excellently. As we know that humans, we can thrive with people around us. You cannot thrive alone. So relationships, associations, they're very vital. And that is what we are all about here at the Sheltered Podcast. So you're welcome. Yes, so today I want to pose a challenge to you and give you a question to think about. Do you realize that the only relative you get to choose in your entire lifetime is your spouse? I know, right? You were born by particular parents. You didn't choose who were your parents. Your siblings, you didn't choose who are your siblings, your grands, anyone that you call a relative in your life. You didn't choose who they were to be. You just found them. They just came along. But then you have a chance, just the only one chance you have in life. To choose the person that you get to marry, the person that you get to spend the rest of your life with, the person who becomes the mother or the father to your kids, the person who is going to be your sister's brother or sister-in-law, and a child to your parents, and you a child to their parents. It's such a huge responsibility. I never used to think about it in that perspective until I came across a book I have been reading. And I was super challenged, and I thought, why not come talk to the sheltered family about the same? That we have this huge responsibility, which is also a great blessing to be able to choose the person we get to call our half in life. I know there are three major things I know for sure that are able to change the life of a person completely. The first one is, of course, an encounter with Jesus. That relationship completely turns around your life. Another one is discovering your purpose in life. If you discover your purpose, then definitely your life turns around, because you're definitely going to work towards that. And the third one, and which is what we're talking about today, is the person you marry. Who you marry determines a lot. And whether we acknowledge it or not, the person we get married to, the person we decide to settle with as our life partners, they are going to have, that decision is going to have impact on not only yourself, but everyone else around you. Picture in mind that you're gonna have kids with this person, and those kids will have to grow up with that person as their mom or their dad. What is the kind of dad or mom do you want to give to your future children? What is the kind of environment you want to give to those future kids? Also bearing in mind that this person is going to come, and they're going to come with their family into your life, because how they were brought up, how they were taught to do things. That also affects a lot. And that also brings me to a thing I had. I think I was listening to either a podcast or something, and I remember this lady saying that it took them a long time to be able to build their own culture as a couple, as a home, because each of them was, of course, born in a different household, brought up in a different kind of way. And so there's those not expectations rather, but there are those things that you grew up knowing that they were normal. Like, for example, if you've been brought up in a home that people shout at each other, and the other person has been brought up in a home where they communicate amicably, no shouting, just quiet, calm, that's, to you, shouting is your normal. To the other person, calm is their normal. So it takes work. It takes a lot of observing how you also behave, because you want to bring up a home that is healthy. Definitely you do. So the person you get to live your life with determines even how your relationship with the rest of with the people around you for the rest of your life is going to look like. Tell me, if you have this relationship and your partner is abusive, either mentally, physically, or in whichever way, you will always have to run to people for help. You will always have to run to a friend, a sibling, a cousin, whoever, for solace. And how you begin relating with this person, it now changes. For example, if you had this friendship that all you did was pure joy, it was beautiful, it was amazing, but then you are with this toxic, abusive partner who, of course, because your friend is your safe space, you continually go to them for help, for comfort, for conversation and everything. You realize it's gonna turn your relationship, that is the friendship now, into more or less of a therapeutic kind of friendship, where all they do is sit, listen to you, cry. Not to mean that that would be the case every other time you meet, but you realize there will be something that has changed in the course of your friendship. Even when it comes to work, how you continuously keep on working, it comes as a result of what is your personal life looking like. So yeah, basically that's the conversation today, and I hope it gets you thinking to know that it is such a privilege to be able to choose to choose the person you get to call your half and to live with the rest of your life. But it's also such a huge responsibility that shouldn't be taken lightly, especially for those of us who are young and not yet in marriage. You have every opportunity to vet, to scrutinize, to ask questions, to look at the person and ensure that this is what I want, not just the beauty. In Proverbs 31, it says that beauty is deceitful, and charm is deceitful, and beauty fades away, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. Talk about the aspect where charm, if this person speaks so nicely, they have charisma, they lure people with their words, you would love how they speak, but what about the character of this person? When it comes to beauty, it could be tall, dark, and handsome, but is that the reason as to why you're going to have them put a ring on your finger just because they are tall, dark, and handsome, and they're gonna have necks turning? That's not enough, because you need someone when it comes to a resolution of conflicts. They can sit with you and talk about issues, bearing in mind that they will not approach it as if you are the enemy, but you and this person will be on one side And the issue that you're addressing will be on the other side, knowing that you are a team, you're one. That's why the Bible says in Genesis that a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to their wife, and they shall become one flesh. So you need to ensure that the person you're choosing to do life with is a person who is going to have your back through thick and thin, through it all. Are they going to view life from the way you want them to view it? And that takes me to the aspect of compatibility. Are you compatible with this person? I don't mean that if they are tall, you have to be tall. That's not what it means. But the aspect of, do we see eye to eye on issues? At least let's have the basic things, the major things, the non-negotiables as things that we both agree on. Because in the Bible, Amos 3:3 says, two cannot walk together unless they agree. You will never walk and have that dream marriage, that dream family, that's happily ever after, if you cannot see eye to eye with this person. Of course, there must be adjustments. There must be compromises here and there. No matter how compatible you are, you realize there are things that are just not, we just don't agree on. And that needs someone who is willing to put in the effort to come, meet you from where you are, and then grow with you until the two of you have been able to come together and make your own culture, agree, have your own way of doing things, make your own rules as a duo, because that is what life looks like. I want to believe, having sat down with married couples, hearing people talk about it, going for seminars and conferences and reading books and watching, conversations, that marriage is just more than the I do one says at the altar, or the dancing, the food, the cake on the wedding day. That's just an event. Marriage is a covenant. Marriage is a lifetime thing. This is how you're gonna do your life. And it affects even destiny. If you're settling for anything than what you're supposed to be settling for, that is the very absolute best, you're going to have to suffer the consequences. And the consequences are definitely not going to be the most pleasant. That's why you hear most marriages that break, from a statistic that I read, it says that most marriages that break, it is just because people end up being very selfish. Clearly, you will never hear a marriage that breaks because people are too much in love with each other and they're serving each other so awesomely. And so you're like, I can't take this love anymore. It's so overwhelming. It's so beautiful. I just can't do this. You'd never hear someone quit a relationship because of that. But in the instance where there is a lot of selfishness, it's just it's me, this person, all they are about is, you don't do this for me, you don't hear me, you don't do. It's all centered on me instead of the other person. Then definitely that should tell you that there's a lot of selfishness here, and you need to open up your eyes. Love is sacrifice. Love is giving. For those who are Christians, John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave. If you claim to love the other person, you have to give. You have to sacrifice. You have to give. There's no other way. You have to give. That's what shows love. And as you pour into them, they pour into you. You realize there's a lot of growth and health and wellness that happens, because the two of you are not self-centered. You are after seeing the other person grow. When it comes to destiny, let's take an example of someone who might have already discovered who they are. They know their purpose, they have a vision, great goals and everything. And then just because someone was tall, dark and handsome, or they were curvy and light skinned and whatever, they settled with that person because of the looks, instead of looking at the character, the person they are, beyond what we see out here. Because people can give you a show when they want to impress, but when they are away from you, who are they really? What are the values that they walk by? What are their non-negotiables? Those are the kind of things that tell you that this person, what kind of character is this person. So your destiny relies a lot on you, and it is not in any way wise for you to just throw that into the arms of someone. I was at a conference last weekend, and it was on marriage and relationships. And I remember one of the speakers saying that marriage is not your purpose in life. Marriage is just one way that God uses to enable you and to help you fulfill your purpose in life. So you can't just get into marriage if you don't know who you are. Why are you settling with this person? And therefore, that's all zeroes in with who you are reflects the person you attract. When we have all this list of my Mr. or Miss Right, we have those big lists, long expectations of them. But if you realize all the people that are approaching you and are trying to get to you are only people who are interested in sleeping with you, they're not after a long-term thing, then it means that is whom you are. Like, that is the standard of your life at the moment. So do the work on yourself. Find yourself, Kwanzaa. Get to know who you are. And then understand, this is my destiny. This is what I'm called for. And what the kind of partner would be able to walk with me into getting into that destiny. Once you realize that, then you work towards the better version of yourself. As you grow, you definitely attract the kind of person that you are. It also zeroes into the aspect of, what does God want for me? He could be all these beautiful, great things, but are they what God wants for you? That's why so many people who just, you get into it, and then that's when you're asking God to bless it. He doesn't bless something that he didn't ordain. It has to begin with him. If he's the beginning, he's definitely going to carry it through. That's why the Bible says that to him who is able to accomplish and fulfill everything that he has begun in us, be the glory. If he began it for you, he's gonna carry it through to fruitfulness. So how about we seek the will of God? We seek the will of God. Don't be under pressure. Marriage is not the purpose. Marriage is not the purpose. Also, another thing I had during that conference is that some people struggle with maybe lust and sexual immorality, and you're thinking that marriage is going to cure. Once I have my own man or my own woman that I can, go to whenever I have these urges, I am gonna be sorted. It doesn't. Marriage doesn't cure. It's actually, like they said, I don't know how true. Okay, I believe it is true for sure, because these are people who have been in marriage and they have sat with people and they have done a lot of counseling and conversations around marriage and intimacy and everything. Is that marriage, it amplifies what you were as a single person. If you are selfish, marriage is going to bring out that selfish aspect of you in its most amplified version. If you are someone struggling with lust, then marriage is going to bring out that, because it's like exposes to the world who you are. You're living with this person now, so what they look like, what you look like, they're gonna see. Even the basics of life, they're gonna see. How you handle life, they're gonna see. They will see, like, because they are so close to you. Now you've brought them in to your life. So they say that the only cure to lust is Jesus. That's basically it. You have to handle it with Jesus first before taking that responsibility or burden to your partner, to be like, they have to satisfy my urges and needs and everything. You have to handle them first with God, and then it's going to bring out the other aspect of contentment and satisfaction. Because if you're content, you're definitely going to be a fulfilled person. You're not going to project issues on this person or require of them to be the source of your happiness. They cannot be. You might get into marriage thinking that I'm gonna find happiness, but you won't. You won't. You need to be okay with being happy by yourself as a person, as an individual, as a single person. You need to be okay with, I love my own company, with or without someone to obey me, to love on me. You need to be okay with that. You need to be okay with that. I remember, I think I've mentioned this in one of the episodes, at the point after my second breakup. I remember going to God and telling him, God, I am at the point where if you don't want me to marry, it's okay. But if you know I need a partner, you will have to bring them. You will have to just direct me to them. You will have to connect me with them, because I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to make it work for myself. Because if you're working for yourself and trying to make it happen for you by your own strength, you're gonna fall short. You'll get tired. Like, I remember at that time I felt like I had hit the rock bottom, because I was like, I thought this was it, but it wasn't. Until you lay it at God's feet, until you allow Him to lead you, you will keep on messing up, you will keep on being hurt, you will keep on feeling lost. After this person breaks up with you, you don't know who you are anymore because you tied your identity to them. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. And the final thing that I am going to mention in regards to this, even as you prepare, even as we look at the people we are trying we are seeing as a prospective spouses, is don't let physical intimacy get in the way. Because the moment you get physically intimate, then your judgment gets clouded completely. It gets all blurry. You cannot see beyond that, because at this point you've given your body to them. So all you feel is that I am obligated to them. And then you feel like you're trapped, because I am sleeping with you. So there's no way I am leaving you. I've given you my body, which is like the very precious thing that we can ever give to anyone. So whenever you bring in the physical intimacy before the covenant of marriage, I think it messes your judgment. You don't know how to look beyond that. You can't see this person beyond what they are, what is superficial. You're unable even to ask the necessary questions. You are unable to approach the whole relationship from the place of, I want to know this person. It's all gets superficial, it's on the surface, and you end up making a wrong decision. That's why you hear some people, they'll be like, well, I'm pregnant for him. What can I do? I have to get married to them. You see, even this person might not be the best parent to your kid, but you brought the kid to the world. The child is innocent, and then you're trying to give the child a home with someone whom you don't even feel at home with in the first place, just because you indulged and you decided to eat the forbidden fruit. So I watched a series. It's called Relationship Goals by Pastor Mike Todd. Please go ahead and watch that series. It's an eye-opener. And he says that marriage was ordained for the house of sex was ordained for the house of marriage. If you're outside marriage, then you shouldn't be having sex. You shouldn't be sleeping around. You may have messed up, yes, but then you don't let yourself be defined by that. You may have slept with someone earlier, but it doesn't have to be your story. You can choose to, this is what I want for me. If they can wait for you, then they truly see you beyond the physical. If they can wait, then they know the deposit of God over your life. But you have to know that deposit of God in your life first before any other person can see it. People will see you how you see yourself. People will respect you however you respect yourself. People will handle you however you handle yourself. I hope you learned a thing or two, or you felt challenged like I was. And please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. And definitely leave a comment, share with a friend. And until the next one, I'll see you. Have a blessed time. Stay sheltered, stay growing, stay happy, stay beautiful, and stay prayed up. Bye-bye.